Look up on any clear summer night in North Carolina just before dusk and you can see bats flitting among the trees. Bats are the only mammal capable of true flight and are the primary consumers of night-flying insects, keeping our forests and agricultural fields healthy by controlling destructive insect populations. Indeed, a single little brown myotis, a common resident of North American forests, can consume about 1,000 mosquito-sized insects in an hour. Unfortunately, many of North America's bat species are in decline or endangered due to habitat loss, declining food sources because of insecticide usage, and human disturbance during hibernation and pup-rearing season. The greatest threat, however, is from a non-native fungal disease called white nose syndrome. White nose syndrome causes hibernating bats to awaken frequently, using up limited stores of fat during the winter, and results in starvation and eventually death. It is estimated that this rapidly spreading fungus has killed over 6 million bats since it was first detected in North America in 2006. Of the 16 bat populations found in North Carolina, 4 are currently considered endangered by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. By making small changes to forest management practices, landowners can shift the structure and suitability of their forests to support existing bat populations or attract more bats to their land. The most common species of bats in North Carolina are the Mexican free-tailed bat, the tricolored bat, the red bat, the big brown bat, and the evening bat. Although there are a small number of fruit-eating bats in North America, all species in the southeastern United States eat insects and rely on echolocation to forage. There are 3 basic components to consider when managing habitat for bats: resources for roosting, space for foraging, and open water for drinking. Bats primarily roost in the foliage of living trees, in caves, or in dead or dying trees. Foliage roosters often choose large-crowned trees that offer suitable temperatures, humidity, and protection from predation and extreme weather. Cavity roosters rely on snags and dying trees, and will roost in cavities left behind in living trees by woodpeckers and other primary cavity nesters, as well as underneath the loose bark of snags. Ideal roost trees are located along the edges of forests or in forest openings that allow an unobstructed flight approach and greater solar heating. Larger diameter trees that retain bark for longer periods of time are preferable to smaller trees, especially for maternity colonies. Because the rate of decay in the southeastern United States is so rapid, colonies will switch roosts frequently and have several alternative roosts if the primary roost collapses or becomes unstable. Regardless of where they roost, bats rely on forests for foraging and for movement corridors. The ideal habitat for a population of cavity or foliage roosting bats would have large canopy gaps to allow adequate space for foraging, a lush herbaceous layer that attracts insects, groups of mature trees or snags in various stages of decay, and a large open body of water free from obstructions to allow for drinking on the wing. Commercial thinning, used in conjunction with regular, prescribed burns, promotes a lush herbaceous layer that attracts insects. This practice clears forest clutter, including mid-story woody shrubs and trees, lowers the basal area of stands, and creates edges for foraging. Shelter wood and seed tree regeneration harvests preserve mature overstory trees for foliage roosters, and if left to age, will provide future snags for cavity roosters. For the most benefit, low-quality trees and snags should be retained during logging operations. Care should also be taken if burning, as intense or frequent burns will reduce the number of snags available to cavity roosters. Burns should not overlap with pup-rearing season or periods of hibernation. A low-intensity burn in late spring will have the least negative effects on bats and potential roost trees. If snags are absent in a stand, new snags can be created by topping trees, girdling, or injecting herbicides in large diameter living trees that are suitable for roosting. But the most cost-effective way to provide snags is to retain green trees during harvest. In general, small and irregularly shaped canopy gaps are more beneficial than large swaths of cleared land. Daylighting roads and keeping forest edges soft by controlling woody vegetation can provide flying corridors for foraging. Group or single tree selection creates tree stands with a variety of tree sizes and ages, and smaller canopy openings mimic tree fall gaps that are formed naturally in mature forests. Most species of bats roost near riparian areas, and access to clean, pooled bodies of water provide not only a source of drinking water, but also attract invertebrates and provide natural travel corridors. Winding buffers along streams beyond state-mandated stream sign management zones will prevent sedimentation and mimic more mature forest conditions that benefit bats. Human-made structures and bat boxes can also provide roost sites for some bats, and may be essential if natural roost sites are not available. Bat houses with multiple small chambers can be built or purchased and placed 10 to 15 feet off the ground in areas where foraging and adequate sun exposure are available, especially along rivers, streams, or lakes. Houses should be waterproofed and painted a dark color to facilitate appropriate temperatures and installed at a 10-degree angle to help pups stay in the boxes. Bat boxes can also provide temporary roost sites if harvests or prescribed burning may temporarily displace colonies. Keeping our local bat populations abundant is important for the health of our forests and agriculture. Landowners can help them by managing their forest stands with bats in mind.